Question number 5, Sarah Dowie.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for ACC. What indicative reductions to ACC levies are signalled in Budget 2015?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Nikki Kay.
Budget 2015 will signal ACC is on track to provide further levy cuts of around $375 million in 2016-17 and $120 million in 2017-18. These indicative levy cuts represent a total savings for New Zealanders of around $500 million and will be spread across the motor vehicle work and earners account. The indicative reductions, if confirmed, will take total levy cuts since 2012 to around $2 billion, benefiting all New Zealanders. These cuts are only possible because of good financial management. This is great news for New Zealanders.
Supplementary question, Sarah Dowie.
To the Minister, what factors could see these indicative levy reductions change?
Mr Speaker. While there could be some change to the total amount and to the per-year amounts, the Government is committed to reductions of at least $500 million across the three accounts. Before the Government makes final decisions on levy reductions this year, ACC will consult under existing legislation with levy payers and make a recommendation. The final decision will take into account other factors like claim numbers and discount rates. It is important to understand that the exact amounts for each year may vary depending on the consultation.
Order.
However, I can confirm reductions of at least $500 million, and that is $2 billion since 2012.
Supplementary question, Sarah Dowie.
Again to the Minister, what recent announcements has the Government made about improving the transparency of the levy setting process?
Mr
Honourable
Speaker,
Nikki Kay.
last week I introduced the Accident Compensation Financial Responsibility and Transparency Amendment Bill to the House. The bill will make a number of amendments to the Act to improve the levy setting framework. The bill will also amend the Act to allow the collection of residual levies to be discontinued earlier. New principles will be introduced into the legislation to ensure greater levy stability and solvency over the long term. The Government will be required to publish a funding policy and the long-term implications of levy decisions. This will ensure there is maximum transparency around ensuring enough money is available to pay the lifetime costs of people's injuries. It is also my hope that levy payers can see levies are as low as possible while ensuring our most vulnerable have greater security for the long term.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Sarah Dowie.
What reports has she seen on alternative approaches to setting ACC levies?
Mr Speaker,
Honourable
I have
Nikki
seen
Kay.
a report about people suggesting going back to a pay-as-you-go approach. The advice I have had is that this would lead to higher costs for claims and increasing levy rates over the long term. It would also be a big step backward for some of our most vulnerable New Zealanders whose quality of life depend on long-term rehabilitation. It would also mean less certainty and stability for New Zealand businesses. These reports come from Andrew Little. At the same time, Labor have removed their ACC policy from their website. He needs to front up to New Zealanders and actually tell people if Labor's plan is to raid the ACC coffers.
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
To the Minister. Why won't she cut levies immediately as recommended by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, by Treasury and by ACC itself? And what possible excuse does she have for overcharging ACC levies now that the Government won't even get to its promised surplus?
Mr Speaker,
Honourable Nikki Kay.
ACC levies now. There is $480 million worth of cuts this year. There are several reasons why we have put a 2-year $500 million policy in. The first reason is that there is still volatility in the accounts. The second reason that Labor members, you need to listen to this, Labor members. If you go down too far in terms of levy reductions, the overall levy path over years means that you can have increases in the out years. They are going to have to understand this. The facts are $2 billion since 2012 compared to a $480 million hole under that side of the House.
Question number